Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be drawing 9 very cute doodles that are super easy for beginners. So we're starting off with a circle and then adding 2 dots for the eyes, and then we're adding these 2 lines for the antennas, and then I'm just drawing a nice little curve along the bottom side of his belly and then another curve at the top to create the snail's body. And then we're just going to add little circles on top of those 2 lines we drew for the antennas. And now we're drawing these sort of bubble shapes for the back. So this is going to be the shell. And we're just overlapping these little bubble shapes on top. And you do this around 3 times, gradually getting smaller until you get to the top where it's just a small little circle. And you've drawn your snail. And these drawings come from my How to Draw Cute Things book. So if you need detailed instructions, make sure to grab your copy. I'll leave it linked below, and grabbing the copy does help to support this channel. So it's greatly appreciated. So after you've drawn your outlines in pencil, I recommend that you use a fine liner pen to outline your little drawing. I'm actually using a mixed media pad, so it's really great for the fine liner pens, and then you just erase it so that you can get rid of those guidelines. And now I'm going to be drawing another snail. So I'm starting with a circle. This is a snail in another style. You can tell I love snails. They're really cute, but in real life they kind of like creep me out, but as little characters they are super cute. And then I'm just drawing these little antennas again, dots for the eyes and then for the mouth. And then we're just going in little swirls for the shell. So it's super easy to do. And then now at this point, you're going to add your fine liner. And this just really helps you to refine and then go over those lines that need any smoothing. And then this is just so relaxing, doing this little swirl motion with your hand. I just found this entirely relaxing. So if you want to do little fun doodles and relax and do something easy where you can just switch your brain off and just practice your hand eye coordination skills, then definitely this is such a fun one. And then I'm just drawing the little texture, because if you look at snails, they have that little texture in their skin. So I'm just drawing a little bit of it at the bottom, then drawing the eyes and the mouth, and again just erasing the guidelines because we don't need them anymore. And moving on to our next illustration. So this is going to be a bear, and I'm starting with a triangle. And what's really fun with characters is that you can use any shape. It can be a circle, a square, a triangle. I'm using an upside down triangle because it creates this really cute look. And then just using these simple rectangles and square shapes for the body, and you can switch these shapes up. You don't need to follow exactly how I'm doing it in the video, but this is how you can build your very own cute characters from your imagination. So I'm just sticking out, sort of like squaring out the bottom so I can create a dress, and then making sure that the eyes are in the lower third, because if they're lower down on the face it makes them look cuter. And then I've just added these little ears and added a little rounding for the neck, and then adding a cute snout for the nose and the mouth. And now when you are happy with the shape, make sure to outline it in your fine liner and define those shapes. And this is why I love working in pencil, because you can build a very cute character out of simple shapes. And then when you go over it in the fine liner, you can just get rid of those guidelines and you're left with a super cute character. And she looks like she's swaying in her dress, so she's so cute. Now the next character is going to be a very cute ladybug. So I'm just drawing a oval shape, and again all of these characters are in the book, so if you want to try them out, follow it step by step, definitely check it out. They're all made from simple shapes. I'm doing these little wavy lines for the antennas, and then the line down the back for the wings, and just adding those iconic circles that you see on ladybugs. And then after that I'm just going over it in the fine liner, just adding these little legs on the bottom as well, just to make sure that my character looks really cute. I'm just doing these little wavy lines for the legs, and then going over it in the fine liner. And this is just so relaxing. You can just really relax, switch your brain off, and just trace over the lines. and it can be a lot of fun for you to do by yourself or even with your kids as well. This is just such a fun activity, and it's really easy for anyone to do, just to relax and chill out and just have fun. And again, you know the drill, you need to erase all of the guidelines. So that's what I've done here. I've just rubbed it out and got rid of the guidelines. Now we're moving on to our 6 characters, and I was cheeky, I sneaked in another character here. So these 2 are lovebirds and they're holding hands. Well, they're not really lovebirds, they're love bears. And I'm just doing this sort of wiggly line to show fur, and then for the other one, he's not as fluffy, so I just did a simple circle. And you can see for the arms on the fluffy one, I'm doing these bumpy lines so that you can see that they are a little bit fluffier than the other character on the other side. So you can see that I'm adding a neckline for both of them, and this just is squaring it off and just creating those sharp shapes. So you can use rectangles, you can use triangles to create these shapes. It's really up to you, and it's up to your creative freedom about how you want to style your animals. You can make them wear different dresses, different trousers, different outfits, but all of the outfits that I'm creating is literally just squares and triangles and circles. Every single character is built out of those basic shapes. So I'm just rounding out the legs, and you can see I've made them hold each other's hands. I'm drawing in another geometrical shape for the pockets on the stomachs, and now I'm just outlining those shapes and making sure that I have those details that I want in. And if there's any details that need fixing, it's in the fine lining process that you fix those. And again, remember the eyes are in the lower third so that it looks cuter. And that's why I like to make my characters look really cute by giving them really big foreheads and small eyes at the bottom. Now we're drawing this jellyfish. It's like a sort of curved shape, and then I'm doing this sort of pleated effect at the bottom, and then drawing lines connecting it down. And then from here, I'm adding these little wiggly lines attached to it, so you can see those little antennas. I'm not sure what they're called. So I'm just adding these little wavy lines and then adding a little bit of a thicker line in between. And then after I've added these little wavy lines to the bottom, then we can focus on the features. So I'm drawing these circles for the eyes, one circle and then a smaller circle inside, and then I'm drawing some fat lips. I'm giving him a pouty mouth, and now going over it in the black fine liner, following those little pleats, and my character is basically done. So again, this one was a little bit trickier, but it is still a very simple and easy beginner project for you to do. So you just follow those lines, the curves of the body, and then draw those little eyes in, and you will come out with a super cute character. Now, the next one is another fun and easy one. I think this is the most easiest one. So you're just drawing a star and then outlining that star. It can be wonky as you want, and this is going to be a starfish character. I'm going around it in these little tiny circles, and it doesn't need to be perfect. The wonkier the better, because this is a cute character. I'm going to add 2 little eyes and a mouth here, and you can see I've added it to the lower third so it can look even cuter. And again, I'm going in with a circle and then 2 straight lines from the side, and then rounding it off at the bottom. And then from here, I'm adding a curve going out to the outside and then curving it back in, and then adding another curve on the other side. This is going to be our wonderful, beautiful octopus. So I love how we've gone to sea creatures at the bottom. We started off with the land ones, then we went into the sea creatures, which is super fun. And then just continuously do these curved lines, do them in different directions. So I'm doing this one curving upwards and then curving it back, and then you can just have them going in any direction that you think would work really well. and then finally join it in the middle, and then again add the eyes in the lower part and the mouth, and then I'm just tracing over it. Really, really easy, so fun and extremely relaxing to do. And if you need any extra help with the step-by-steps, I've left these instructions in my How to Draw Cute book. The link is in the description, and definitely appreciate it if you do support the channel. And now I'm just going in and coloring in my cute characters. I'm going in with a brown at the bottom, and then at the top I've decided that I wanted it to have a multicolored shell. And then in the middle I'm going in with sort of like a yellowy browny color. I'm using alcohol markers, and because I'm using this mixed media pad, it's really great. I think it's the perfect kind of pad for alcohol markers. If you've ever used alcohol markers before, they tend to bleed through onto the next page, but because of this mixed media pad, it's so thick, it can really hold paints, it can hold alcohol markers, and I haven't had any problem with any kind of medium with the alcohol markers. So highly recommend it if you haven't checked out getting a mixed media pad. So for the second snail, I'm going in with a brownie color for the body, and I'm just making sure to give it that sort of form around the sides. And then for the shell, I decided to go for a sort of not rainbow effect, but layered effect with different shades of brown and yellow as well. I wanted it to have a really cool effect. So you can see I'm going around with the alcohol markers in this swirl effect, and I'm just continuously following the swirl pattern until all of the color is filled in. And I really loved how this came out. And now along the bottom I'm using the gray, and now I've just moved on to the ladybird. Now this is really, did I call it a ladybird? Ladybug. Now I'm moving on to the ladybug. It's super easy. So I'm going in with the red and just doing a darkish red color, and then after that just going in with a black. And this is really simple and self-explanatory. You can really color any color you like. It's really up to you. And I had so much fun coloring these in. It was very relaxing and lots of fun to color in these doodles, and it just really finished off the look and made the doodles come to life as a work of art, as something that looked really fun to look at. Moving on to my triangle head bear, I'm just using a dark brown. I felt like after I added this on, it was a little bit too dark because it kind of hid the features of the face, but I think that I'll live with it now. I'm just coloring in the legs, the hands, and the main parts of the body with this brown. If I could go back, I'd probably use a lighter brown, just a little bit tad. And then I'm going pink for the ears, and for the dress, I decided to go with a really bright pop color because I went a little bit too dark for his fur or her fur. So I just added this bright pink, and I just wanted it to have that pop of color, so I went even further than that, and I decided to go for a purple as well. So these purple dots on top of a fuchsia pink dress, and now she really looks like she's dancing in her dress. Now on to our lovely couple. They are so loved up and holding hands. I decided to do his dungarees in a nice bright blue color and then fill in the pocket with a darker blue, just so that we can distinguish the details. And then I did decide to go back to using that same brown, but I felt like he would do well in the dark brown, and then I would do his friend in a lighter brown, which is what I chose. I chose a terracotta brown color. So she's more of like an orangey brown, and she looks really cute and fluffy. So that's so much fun about this character. That's why I love this character so much, because it is such a cute character. Alcohol markers try to work quickly because when they dry, they can leave a bit of a streak. So that's why I try to work as fast as possible and try to make sure that the strokes are going in the same direction as much as possible. And you can see me moving around the page and going over the same spots and trying to go back to different spots as quickly as possible because I don't want to get streaks. Now moving on to the jellyfish character, I was really excited to color this one in. I decided to go with a light pink because in my mind, when I think of jellyfish, I think of pinks, I think of purples, I think of blues. So those were the colors that were chosen for this jellyfish. Those are the colors that I was going for. I went for a nice lilac color for this little frilly part of the jellyfish. And I decided to also use it on the tassel part of the jellyfish as well. The starfish was super quick and easy because it was a starfish. I went in with a yellow color. I guess you could go in with more colors and make it more exciting, but I just wanted to make it yellow and add a little bit of orange as well around the edges, but the main color was the yellow. Moving on to our very cute octopus. So I decided to start coloring the legs in first with a lighter blue. I wanted to have sort of a gradient effect where the legs were a lighter blue and then the body is in a darker blue. So here you can see me coloring in just the legs halfway and just making sure that I can get each leg evenly colored before I went in with the darker blue. And then I picked this really vibrant blue color. I finished off coloring in the legs and I really wanted to work quickly here again so that I was able to blend those colors. And I was just trying to work as quickly as possible. And for your reference, I'm using the Ohuhu markers. I do really like these markers, but sometimes I use the Culp Art markers as well. I have a review on my channel about those markers, but I do prefer Ohuhu, but they are a little bit more expensive than the Culp Art markers. So if you are ever wondering what kind of markers I use, definitely make sure to check out my review. And there you have it, 9 cute doodles that you can do easily. And those were just a few of the doodles that you can find in my How to Draw Cute book. There's so many doodles with step-by-step tutorials that I've drawn, and this is just available on Amazon. I'll link it down below.